So there's no easy way to start this video. I'm just gonna start talking and just get through it, I guess. But I was having a good day today and I feel finally good enough to talk about what I want to talk about because I feel like it's important and I just want to share, especially because it's been such a long time since I filmed a new video. I just really want to get myself back out there, and in order for me to do that, I really need to talk about what happened so that I can move on and that I can, I guess, hope for better days ahead. I don't know. I'm probably going to be going back and forth with myself in this video a lot just because it has been so long since I've filmed a new video, and also because this is just a really hard topic for me to talk about, obviously. So there's no easy way to say this, but my mom passed away in December of 2020. This was something so unexpected. Never in all my 23 years of life, I'm 24 now, but at that time I was 23. Never in my 23 years of life did I ever really think that I could lose my mom. And I know it seems so silly to say that, but I obviously knew that, you know, death is real and that I could lose my mom. But it never occurred to me that it could be something that would happen so soon and so sudden. So, yeah, I'm not okay. I haven't been okay for this entire time. And I feel like the more time goes on, I feel like the worse I get in a way. But that's just my journey right now. And I just wanted to come on here to share it with you guys because it is real. And it has happened to a lot of people recently and just in general. But yeah, so I'm going to go into the details of my mom's death. So it may be traumatizing. It may trigger some people. It definitely triggers me because it was something very traumatizing. But like I said, I want to go through it because I need to get it off my chest. And I feel like this will make me feel better and help me move on. So that's what I'm doing. So like I said, my mom's death was really unexpected. My mom, I would say, was fairly healthy. She did suffer for over 15 years, I want to say, from a disability. She had chronic back pain. She had a herniated disc at the end of her spine and her lower back. And this caused a lot of pain in her back and in her leg, and just pain just in her whole body. And it really messed with her mental health as well because she had to be on narcotics for years to manage the pain because there was no surgery or no procedure that could be done to fix her pain or to fix her spine or anything like that. So she suffered a lot. And even though she suffered so much, she was such a hard worker. And even though she was always in so much pain, she was always working and she was always doing her best to be a good employee, to be a good mom, to be a good wife, to be a good everything as much as she could. But even with this disability, my mom still worked a full-time job. She had to work constantly. She loved working so many hours because one, she had to because she felt like she needed to, you know, make a good life for myself and my dad, but also because she just couldn't be at home in bed. She just couldn't do that. She was not the type of person who wanted to be sick, who wanted to not do anything. My dog is just walking around. I feel like my dog Daisy has been in a way looking for my mom a lot lately. She walks around, I think, like kind of waiting for her to come home. It almost feels as though my mom is just at work, but obviously she's gone. And yeah, but it's just really hard to believe sometimes. But anyways, going on about my mom, she was such an amazing person, and she did everything she could to make my life amazing, and she really did. And she really raised me to be the woman that I am today. And the relationship that I have with my mom, or had, I should say, I don't know if I said have or had, but the relationship I have with her, I feel like I still have a relationship with her just because I feel so connected to her, and I feel like I'm exactly like her. I feel like I am just a complete copy of her. Um, but she was so amazing to me. She was such a great mom, and anything I ever needed, she was always there for me. She did everything she could for me all the time, even though she was slowed down by this disability and by this illness. And yeah, but she was such an amazing mom. But anyways, I forgot the point that I was going about. But just to start with the, I guess, the timeline of my mom's death. The week before she had passed, she had been feeling a little sick. She usually didn't really get sick besides, you know, her pain that she had. Only sometimes during the winter is when she would get a sinus infection, but it was pretty routine for her, and she would just be on antibiotics for a couple days and she would get over it because she was really good at taking care of herself and not letting any sickness, you know, drag on, other than obviously the sickness she couldn't fix. So she had a sinus infection, she had a sinus headache, she was feeling really sick. And on Thursday of the week that she passed, back in December, she was prescribed antibiotics, and she had been working Monday through Friday that entire week. And so she went to work on Thursday and Friday, and she was feeling really sick. So by Saturday, when it was her day off, she just really felt awful, and she was really coughing, and she just couldn't get out of bed, and she just spent the entire day in bed. And this was something, again, like I said before, this was something that was pretty common. My mom would have some pain flare-ups and she just wouldn't be able to get out of bed, especially whenever she would have a really bad cough. It's just what would happen. And so my dad and I were kind of used to her being in pain, and it did not seem like something that was out of the ordinary. They had called the doctor to make sure, you know, that everything was okay, because she didn't have a fever or anything like that. But that day the doctor never called them back, and so they were gonna wait until Sunday to call again to see if they could, you know, see the doctor, because this was something, you know, it's still during a pandemic, and my mom couldn't just freely go to the doctor and see her doctor, so she would have to call and things like that. So Saturday was an interesting day because towards the end of the night, my mom had sent me a message asking me to schedule a COVID test for her. And this was something that, again, didn't really occur to me. Obviously, it was in the back of my mind because we are in a pandemic, but it just, you know, didn't really occur to me because we went the whole year practically without getting sick. And so my mom was just, you know, very careful, and she took really good care of herself, and so it just never really occurred to us. But it wasn't until she started feeling these weird symptoms that you know, it occurred to her and to us that we should get a COVID test. And so she had texted me asking for a COVID test, and I wasn't at home at the time. I was with Victor, my boyfriend. We were babysitting his nephews, and so I was at a different house, obviously. And when she had texted me that, you know, I immediately made the test for her, but right after, I just had this wave of emotions just hit me all at once. And I just kept thinking to myself that my mom has COVID, and if my mom gets COVID, she could die, and that my mom is gonna die and everything's gonna be okay. And that's literally what was going through my mind at that time. And I just immediately started crying uncontrollably, and I just couldn't stop crying. And I felt really scared. But I didn't say what I was thinking out loud. I didn't say it to Victor. I didn't say it to anyone. I just had this, bad thought in my mind, and of course, I didn't want to share it with anyone. But it was, I feel like my body telling me and preparing itself to, what was going to happen. It was almost like my body was just foreshadowing the events that would happen, the next day. But yeah, it was a lot on my mind, and I was trying really hard not to think bad things like that. But of course, I was scared, and that's immediately what I was thinking, especially when my mom asked for a COVID test. Um, but after she had said that, and after I had finally calmed down, I decided to come over here to her and to try to take care of her, try to give her some Mucinex, some over-the-counter cough medicine just to help her relieve her cough. And then I also tried to make her a tea. I came home and I made her tea and I gave her her medicine, and she just looked really awful. Um, but I kept asking her if she needed anything and what she needed, and she was always really good at knowing what she needed and whatever. But she said she was fine, and she told me that she was gonna be fine, and that she's just really tired and she wants to sleep. And so I just stayed with her for a few hours, and then she just fell asleep. And so I didn't want to bother her, and I left, and I just told my dad to call me if she runs a fever, to keep checking her temperature, because she didn't have a fever at all. And so I just kept telling my dad to let me know if anything changes when I leave. Um, so I left and I went back to my apartment, to mine and Victor's apartment, and I just went to sleep. And I tried really hard to kind of let go of those negative thoughts and those scary thoughts that I was thinking. Um, but yeah, so then Sunday morning, my dad calls me at 6 a.m. and he says that my mother was not able to breathe, um, that she was really struggling to breathe, and that she was going in and out of consciousness, and he didn't understand what was happening, and he knew that he wanted me to get there right away. So of course I just raced over there, and I only live 5 minutes at the time. I only lived like 5-10 minutes away from them. So I got in my car and I just raced over to her. And the whole time I just kept thinking to myself, like, I have to get my mom to the hospital, like, and I just kept praying and praying to God to keep her safe, and to help her and to help me. And um, so I get here, and my mom just couldn't even form a sentence, and she was just so out of it, and she seemed like she was in so much pain because she kept groaning in pain. And she was trying to tell me something, but I couldn't understand her because she was so out of it and going in and out of consciousness. And I immediately I thought, like, maybe her medication just is giving her a bad reaction or something, and that maybe she overdosed, or I don't know, something. Like, I didn't think she was dying, even though subconsciously and in the back of my mind my body almost knew. So we were trying to take her to the hospital, but just the way she was, there was just no way. And we called 911, and we are just waiting for the ambulance. And finally, when the paramedics got there, they said that she had pulse, but they obviously needed to help her. And so they she was in her room, and they just pulled her off the bed and put her on the floor, and they just immediately started to try to help her and save her. And I thought that they were gonna save her, and I thought that they could help her, because they said that she had a pulse. But the whole time I was there, they just were doing as much as they could, and the whole time I just kept telling her to talk to God, and that she would be fine, and to just talk to God, and that just ask God to help her. And after, I don't know how long it was that they were trying to save her, but they just pulled me and my dad to the side and just said that they couldn't do anything anymore, and that that she just passed. And I just didn't know how to react because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my mom had just passed so quickly and everything just happened so fast. It was so hard on me. And I just was trying to be there for my mom and trying to save her and, talk to her, but it just nothing worked. And I couldn't believe it. My dad and I just couldn't believe it had happened. And we had no idea who to call, who to talk to. I just immediately called my mom's sister, who's my godmother, and I just told her to get here right away. And we were just all so shocked because it was just so unexpected and we had no clue. We had no idea if she had COVID or not because we didn't even get to make it to her test. Nothing. And so we just were left feeling so defeated and so shocked. And it was just really hard to tell the rest of my family that day. And we just basically spent the whole day mourning her, I guess, because, it's like, what do you do after that? You don't, it's just everything after my mom's death, even now, 7 months later or 6 months later, everything feels wrong, because she's not here with me and nothing feels the same. Um, but yeah, so my mom had passed, and 2 days later, we ended up finding out that she did test positive for COVID. Um, but it wasn't until 3 months or so later after that was when it was confirmed that COVID was the cause of her death. And so that was just something really, really upsetting because, it's like it feels like we couldn't have done anything. And part of me is glad that we didn't take her to the hospital and potentially have her die in the hospital. Or I don't know, I don't even know if they could have done anything to save her in the hospital if they found out she had COVID. And also too, I don't know if I could even have seen her or been with her if we did take her to the hospital. So part of me is glad that she was here at home and that she was able to be with me and with my dad, and especially me, just because I was there with her by her side the entire time. And I just feel like I kind of coached her into passing. And I just wish I could really talk to her and I wish she could tell me something. That's really all that I've been missing. I miss her so much. And this is like really, really hard for me because this is the first death that I've experienced this close to me. I always thought that I would experience either my dog or my grandparents to pass first, but it was my mom first. And so this is something that just caught me so off guard. And it's been so, so hard on me, especially because I feel like I carry a lot of my mom's emotions. And it's just been really difficult. So that's just where I'm at right now. It just feels really lonely sometimes. But I don't want to get into being negative and things like that. But I just wanted to share. Um, so yeah, following my mom's death, it was just such a long time to get her funeral set up and to have a viewing and all that stuff. Took 2 months after she had passed before we finally had her funeral, and it was really tough because the state of the world right now is just not okay, and so many people have been dying because of this disease and or this virus, I should say. I'm sorry. And so it's really hard. Um, I don't even know like how much more else to say it, and I don't know, but my mom was just such an amazing person, and I just never imagined her not being here. Um, and part of me feels like, she's with me all the time because I feel like I am her sometimes, but it's just not the same, obviously. I'm probably gonna keep this short because I really don't want to keep going on and on about this, because I feel like it's time for me to just move on with my life and just to move on from this tragedy. I just realized my makeup is like just smearing off my face, but I've been crying, so it is what it is. Anyways, I'm probably gonna just keep this video short, but it was really hard doing all the stuff following her death, and just whenever someone dies, just doing all the things that you have to do. And luckily my mom was so smart about her money and so smart about everything, and she left things in place that really have helped me and my dad, and so that's been really comforting. And it's nice to know that my mom did the smart thing and the right thing, because that's not something that most people experience. And so even though it was so unexpected, we've been doing the best we can to adjust to this new life, and it's been really hard, especially because I'm her only child, and my dad is obviously her only husband, but it was just the three of us, and so now our family is down to just the two of us, and it's just really hard. But it's my reality now, and I just feel like I have to live with it. And I'm doing my best to move on. Like, I really feel like this is a step for myself to finally let it out. And I didn't want to just start making new videos without talking about what had happened to me, especially since I had been gone so long. I'm ready to get back into the swing of things and really take the time to do stuff for myself, because I've just been taking all this time trying to grieve, and it's hard because I feel like I need to do something, like I need to keep myself busy. And another like awesome thing that I wanted to talk about is that exactly a month after my mom had passed, I ended up interviewing with NASA, and I started a new position at NASA. So now I work at NASA as a public affairs specialist, and it's just something that I just never imagined I could ever do. And it was just such a amazing blessing, and I feel like it was something that my mom blessed me with, because I had been unemployed for 6 months and after I had graduated college, and it was really hard, especially during the pandemic. But yeah, I feel like my mom really like blessed me with that, and I felt like she was with me during my interview, and I felt like it really helped me get a new job and start my career. And it's been so great, and so many people have been asking me about it, and have told me that they would like to see, like a day in my life as I work for NASA and things like that. So I hope to do something like that soon, to take up my time and to keep me more busy, because it's really hard grieving for someone and, losing the person that gave you life, and it's like I feel so disconnected because my mom and I had such a great connection. She was just so amazing, and so now that I don't have that, it's just really really hard. But I'm probably saying that so much in this video, and I probably seem so strong, but I'm not, as anyone would expect to be. I think I'm just gonna end this video here. I don't really know what else to say except thank you for listening if you stayed this far, and thank you for all of those who had shared sweet messages to me when my mom passed. Even though I feel alone, I know that I'm not alone, and it's just something that I have to work through for myself. But yeah, so I think I'm just gonna end this video here, and I hope that you stick around with me. My videos aren't gonna be this sad all the time. I hope not, at least. I hope you could stick around with me and see what I'm up to following me getting over this, because this is just something that people go through, and it's life and it happens. So if you want to stick around with me and see how I cope, then please subscribe and please stick around with me. It'd be really great. It would really help me because it would push me to make more videos and to get myself out there more, because I feel like I need to, since I have been struggling a lot. I'm gonna take some time now just to relax and get my mind back into a good place, and then I hope to see you in the next video soon. I have a lot of things planned for myself this month, and I think that's it. And please pray for me, and please pray for all the people who have lost a loved one in their lives. And I hope that you all stay safe, and I hope your family stays safe, and I hope that you are all okay. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.